Good morning, YouTube. While the Encore technically sells better, the Enclave is definitely Buick's most important model, both due to the price and its prestigious image. Today we have the pinnacle of the lineup, a satin steel Avenir, which at $60,000 goes head-to-head with the MDX, RXL, and Q7. But as always, we will also be covering the other trim levels as well. Special thanks to our friends at Don Franklin Buick GMC here in Lexington for giving us access to this Enclave. And if you're in the market for any new Buick or GMC, be sure to stop by or visit their website, which we provided a link to in the video description. So with 90% of customers choosing upper trims and 20% choosing the top-end Avenir, let's see if the Enclave has the full luxury experience. So starting out with the exterior styling, my first impression would definitely be yes. Here on the Avenir, we have a very rich appearance, with the usual Buick waterfall grille being replaced by a classier dark mesh finish. It is trimmed in chrome, which leads right into the headlights, where there are no such differences between the trims. They are fully LED on all models, including daytime running lights on both the top and bottom. Now moving to the side, this is where you can really start to tell just how large the Enclave is. The sweeping body lines of the vehicle don't even try to hide the massive 204-inch length, or otherwise known as 8 inches larger than the MDX or QX60. So this is definitely one of your largest options in the class. As we go around to the back, you'll notice a few unique styling features, including a floating roofline and a contrast color rear bumper. On this gray Avenir, it is black, but with other colors it can be gray or a champagne color. Regardless, all models get dual chrome exhaust outlets and a 5,000-pound tow rating with the optional trailering package. Moving upwards, there is a chrome accent that connects and runs through the LED taillights. And then you have a spoiler and silver roof rails across the range. All in all, the Enclave is a well-designed package. It has a very premium look, all the while having a design that is not derivative of anything else. Another important component of the Avenir's looks are these good-looking 20-inch alloy wheels with a unique pearl nickel finish. The other three trims will come standard with 18-inch silver painted alloys, though 20-inchers are available through the new Touring and Sport Appearance packages, or standalone. Moving on up to the mirrors, they are power adjusting, heated, and even have driver's side auto dimming across all trims. Essence and Up will add in blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, and then Premium and Avenir add in power folding and memory functions. Now moving on to safety, like most GM vehicles, the Enclave has lots of safety equipment, but mostly clustered on the top trims. On Premium and Avenir, you have low-speed auto braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, and auto high beam headlights. However, to get full-speed auto braking and adaptive cruise control requires the optional technology package on the top-end Avenir. Those are features that Acura, Lexus, and others make standard or available on a wider selection of trims. Finally, to wrap up the outside, the Enclave has either a 19.4 or 21.7 gallon fuel tank for front or all-wheel drive respectively. That's good for ranges of 407 miles with front-wheel drive and 434 miles with all-wheel drive, both running on regular unleaded fuel. Well, that covers everything on the outside, so now let's see if the interior stacks up as well. So every single Enclave does come standard with smart entry, as well as the impressive feature of remote start. And they all get this nice key fob as well. Now to get inside, there is no sensor behind the door handle, so you just press the button to unlock. Alright, so looking inside the 2019 Enclave, you'll notice one of the big changes for 2019 right off the bat. And that's that you can now get a black interior on the Avenir. It was previously only chestnut. We of course have leather seating, as does the Essence and the Premium, and the Preferred comes with cloth seating. And then as far as your color options, the base model comes with only black cloth, and then the other trims have the choice between shale, dark galvanized gray, and then a special brandy color. Now turning to your door trim, it is very richly appointed. So you have a leatherette trim all over the armrest with contrast stitching. And then on the Avenir, you've got a real mahogany wood as opposed to a faux wood on the other two trims. You do also have two-person memory seats on the Premium and Avenir. And then your windows are one-touch auto up and down for the driver only, and then auto down for the other three. Now coming to the seats, every Enclave, regardless of price, come with this 8-way power seat with 2-way lumbar support. And then the leather, of course, on our model is super premium. We do have color contrast stitching and piping. And then this is really soft and supple, definitely up to Cadillac level here. And we also do have special Avenir branding at the top. Now of course, since this model just came out last year, it still has a very modern look to the cabin, which is also backed up by very high-end materials. So all but the extreme upper part of the dash are made from a leatherette trim with nice color contrast stitching that does continue on down through here and around. Down in your next layer, you've got more of that real mahogany wood trim, and then a soft touch plastic material with stitching that carries down through here. Coming over to the driver's side, instead of a plastic, you have a leatherette trim where your knees might touch for padding, and then everything does fit together super well. Now to start the Enclave, just press this nice metal button. Once you press it, the standard 8-inch display will boot up. Like I said, this does come on every trim. Now one thing you will not find on every trim are these 8-inch digital gauges. These come on only the Avenir, and like I said, it does replace the center part with an 8-inch display. Now what's really nice about this is it's fully reconfigurable, so you can click over to the right to access your menu, and then you can scroll down to settings, where we can now go to the section labeled theme, and then you can change to a special touring theme if you prefer. So this has a really unique look, and of course it has all the other features you expect from a multifunction display. So very nice. Now coming back to the steering wheel, it is of course electric power and leather wrapped across the board. On the Avenir here, we do also have a wood accent that goes across the top. Coming down to your buttons, you have the standard affair of stuff, including adaptive cruise control on this model, and then this button here accesses your heating. New for 2019 on Avenir and Premium, this is automatic, so it will activate with the climate control. And then on this side, you've got your buttons for your audio and then your multifunction display. As far as the steering wheel itself, it is power adjusting on the Premium and Avenir. And then off to the side here, you've got your headlight controls and your electronic parking brake. Now moving on to the extremely important aspect of storage, the Enclave does an excellent job compared to rivals. So to start out with, you've got your center console, and it does come in 2 tiers of storage. So to start out with, you've got this area for the things that you access frequently, and then you can remove this, and you have a really deep area that goes all the way down. And there is a removable pad at the bottom of that in case you get dirty as well. Underneath the real mahogany wood, you do have more cup holders, and then you've got another area right through here which doubles as a wireless phone charger on the Avenir. If you don't have a compatible device, you do still have 2 USB ports and your aux jack. But the big difference between the Enclave and all of its rivals is this area down here. This huge pass-through gives you the ability to put just about anything, including like a diaper bag, your purse, anything like that. And there is also a 12-volt outlet down there as well. But this is a very versatile space. Now Buick is able to give you that space because they have opted for an electronic shifter. Now this is the same one you've seen in several other General Motors vehicles. It takes a little getting used to, but it's not too bad. So for drive, you're just going to press this button on the side and pull back. You can pull back once more to activate your low mode, where you can shift via the standard paddle shifters. Now for reverse, this is the tricky part. You actually have to go all the way up and then bump over to the left. Now once we've activated reverse, you will find a standard backup camera with active trajectory across all models. And then here on the Avenir, we have the 360-degree camera. So as you can see, we've got a bird's eye view here as well as your traditional view. And you can turn on and off the guidelines, parking sensors, and then if you're in drive, you can activate the front camera as well. And then for park, all you have to do is press the P. Next up, we've got the climate controls, which are 3-zone automatic across all 4 trims. So they're super easy to use. You just twist these knobs to adjust your temperature. And then you've got your fan speeds right here. One thing that is worth noting though, a lot of the buttons are not located down here. You have to press the climate button and then jump up here to change your zones, for example. And then you also have redundant controls for the temperature and fan speed as well. This is also where you would adjust the rear climate control, and you can hit this button which locks out the back passenger from making any adjustments via the controls back there. In addition to that, you will find 3-stage heated seats standard across the board, and then 3-stage ventilated seats standard on the Premium and the Avenir. Alright, so now let's go ahead and sample the Avenir's 10-speaker Bose Premium audio system. Sound quality here is very good and definitely up to par with what you get on the MDX and QX60. Anyways, now that brings us to the Buick IntelliLink system, so let's go ahead and take a quick look around. Okay, so to start out with, this is not the newest version of IntelliLink like you see in some of their newest models. However, besides for the graphics, the functionality is identical. Now in this model, you do have physical controls down here, including a home button for your main screen here. So we'll start out with the audio. In here we're connected via the standard Bluetooth, and I can play and pause my music straight from here, as well as press the media button and switch to other devices, or the radio button. Now conveniently across the top, you do have shortcut buttons to other sections, so we can go straight into phone. In here I can access my contacts, which have automatically synced over from my connected smartphone. Next we'll head into the navigation. Now this is standard on our Avenir and optional on the Premium. And this does have pretty nice graphics, response is smooth, and you do have pinch to zoom like I've just demonstrated as well. However, more important, especially if you're getting a lower trim, is that you have both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay standard as long as you connect your phone via the USB port. This does allow you, of course, to use Apple Maps or Google Maps if you don't pay for the integrated navigation. But other than that, that's pretty much the main features of the Buick IntelliLink system. However, if you want to see a real deep dive, we have a dedicated tech help video available for those of you who want to learn more. A link to that is provided in the video description. Now next to the screen, you do have a series of buttons. This one here toggles on and off your all-wheel drive system, and then below it you have the mode button, which goes through your 2 drive modes, touring or sport. Then on your other side you got your hazards, parking sensors, and lane departure alert. Now moving on up to the mirror, it is auto dimming across the range. However, here on the Avenir we have a special trick, which is the rear vision camera. This gives you a live feed of the camera, cutting out all the obstructions behind you, and is particularly useful on something this big. And then you've got your HomeLink universal remotes up here. Also on our Avenir, we have a standard dual panel moonroof. Now the shade and the moonroof operate separately, so you just push this and then it pulls back. As you can see, the front portion opens up and we do have a wind buffer. And then in a separate panel, we have the back moonroof for the second and third rows, and it also has its own sunshade. So overall, the Enclave Avenir's interior is really impressive. Now I know a lot of people don't consider Buick to be a true luxury brand. However, if you look at this vehicle back to back with the MDX and QX60 and several other rivals, you'll see that this gives you everything you could want, plus in a lot of cases, even more. So great job overall. And then like all GM vehicles, you do have a rear seat reminder. Now I'll go ahead and hand it off to Mason, who will finish up the rest of the vehicle.
So as you would expect out of a luxury vehicle, the rear door trim is really nice. You have leather where your elbow will rest, with stitching down here, and you also have some more of that wood trim. Your rear window is auto down, not auto up though, and you do have plenty of door storage down here. Now as far as rear space is concerned, you're going to find a lot of it in the Enclave. You'll find 38.9 inches of legroom and 39.9 inches of headroom. That actually places it quite a bit above the Acura MDX, which is its main rival. Now your rear seating on all Enclaves is 7-passenger seating, so you do have captain's chairs on all models. Also on this Avenir, we do have some white piping through the middle, and the seat itself is very comfortable and can slide and recline. Now in the rear, you will find quite a few features on the Enclave. All models will get their own climate controls back here, so you can adjust your fan speed, temperature, and set your modes. And the top 2 trims, which are the Premium and Avenir, get their own 3-stage rear seat heating. Those same trims also get this household style outlet, as well as 2 smart charging USB ports. Now, like I said, captain's chairs are standard, so you will have these nice armrests here. And above it, you do have this dual panel moonroof, which is really nice. You can shut the shade independently from the driver, which is a nice touch. You also have LED lighting, pretty nice headliner, and here are your rear vents. Additionally, you do have an assist grip and coat hook. Now, as far as space is concerned, like I said, this is one of the bigger offerings in the class. So behind Drew's position, I have tons of space. I have probably about 1.5 feet of space, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. I can completely stretch out. Sliding over, I still have plenty of room, probably about 6 to 7 inches of room, and I'm very, very comfortable. So overall, the rear seat of this Enclave Avenir is a wonderful place to spend time. I love the dual panel moonroof, and there's plenty of features to keep everyone in the family happy. So let's go ahead and get into the third row and see how that is. Before we get back there though, I want to talk about the specs. The Enclave does have 33.5 inches of legroom and 37.9 inches of headroom. That actually places it as well above the competition, It's about 5 inches larger than the Acura MDX. So getting back here. So first getting back here, I'm actually not too uncomfortable. I have about 1 inch of leg room, and my feet can slide up under the seat, which is something that most rivals don't have. Additionally, I do have several amenities, such as 2 cup holders, smart charging USB port, as well as my own vents up top, nice headliner, and some LED lighting as well. So overall, if you're looking to haul a bunch of people in the third row, the Enclave might be a better choice than the Acura MDX. You can also fold the second row flat. Just grab this little lever. It folds right down. Now coming around to your tailgate, it is hands-free power across all trims of the Enclave. It will even project a Buick emblem where you're supposed to kick, which is right under the tailgate here. Alright, so in the cargo area of the Enclave, you're going to find a large amount of space compared to its rivals. You'll find around 24 cubic feet behind the third row seats, expanding to 58 cubic feet with them folded, and a maximum of around 98 cubic feet of space. That puts it much larger than the Acura MDX and any of its rivals. Additionally, on your top 2 trims, you do have power folding third row. It's very easy to do. It's also very fast. And once you can see, it does give you a flat loading floor if you have all the seats folded. Under the cargo floor here, we do have some more storage. It's actually quite deep. So yeah, a very large area in the back. You do have Avenir branding in the headrest. It's a nice, very beautiful seat. And it is 6-way power adjusting across all trims of the Enclave. In front of the passenger, of course, you do have nice materials with this leather trim. Some more of that wood. And even down here is nicely padded with stitching. Additionally, your glove box is quite large. It is not felt lined, however it is dampened. Up top you do have a sun visor. Lights gently fade in with a mirror. It can also detach, and it also extends. Where your knee will rest, it is nicely leather padded, and down below that you do have plenty of storage. Well guys, that pretty much sums up all I have to cover up here. So now let's go ahead and get to the powertrain and do a quick test drive. Alright, so under the hood of the Enclave, you're going to find things that are pretty simple. You'll find a 3.6 liter V6 on all models, and that engine produces 310 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is a 9-speed automatic, and power can be put to the ground by one of 3 different drivetrains. The base trim is exclusively front-wheel drive, while the Essence can choose between front-wheel drive or traditional all-wheel drive. The Premium and Avenir also start with front-wheel drive, but they can option on an intelligent dual-clutch all-wheel drive system shared with Cadillac. Fuel economy doesn't change for 2019, so they come in at 18 city, 26 highway, 21 combined for the front-wheel drive model, and 17 city, 25 highway, 20 combined for the all-wheel drive models. That is 2 mpg behind the MDX and 1 behind the QX60. So now let's go ahead and see how she goes on the road.
So getting up to speed there, power comes on really easily. You know, feels plenty powerful for something so big. And then cruising down the road here at 50 miles an hour, it does have a very, very smooth ride, as you would expect from a Buick, of course. We're setting up pretty high, so we have a great view of the road, and we're just kind of going
Feels like
along.
we're gliding along.
Gliding along, really smooth.
I do want to just go ahead and mention just how quiet it is riding along in here. The engine has a very hushed note to it, as you would expect out of a luxury SUV, but it is very hushed in here. The V6 is very refined. You can tell that it doesn't make a lot of noise, and that's what people want in this class. You want it to be nice and quiet, and this does it very, very well.
Turning radius is pretty tight for something so large. Again, this is, you know, a really big vehicle. This is fits in between a Tahoe and Suburban, in case you're wondering about how big it is. So while it is a crossover, it actually is larger than your standard size Yukon, if that's something that you're cross-shopping this with. But it feels surprisingly manageable when driving. I don't feel like I'm driving a school bus, I guess. The steering responds quite quickly. It's not super numb.
There are a lot of cars in this class that have roughly the same dimensions, that feel a lot larger to drive than this.
Absolutely. So there's the auto start stop. It just turned off. The restart is very fast, very smooth. You can't even feel anything at all. So I'm impressed by that.
Wow.
It's a good thing it is not defeatable in this vehicle like some of the newer Buicks, such as the Envision. So you're stuck with it in a sense, but I don't think you'll notice it at all.
That's really very impressive. That might be one of the best ones I've ever experienced.
That's probably the best one.
If I wasn't paying any attention, I 100% wouldn't have noticed. So thumbs up for Buick on that one. Very refined.
We'll mention this rear view camera here. Like I said during the review, very handy on something so large.
Yeah, looking past 3 rows.
Right,
and
exactly. If I put it in regular mode, we're talking a small, I mean, it's still a pretty good sized window, but it's probably about 10 or 15 feet behind me. It's just, you're not going to see anything meaningful, let's just say that. You slip it in that mode, and now all of a sudden I've got a high definition display, and I can clearly see everything that's happening behind me. So yeah, so overall I'm really impressed by the way it drives. I feel like it succeeds at all of its core missions. And then to me, I'm not used to driving something this big, and it doesn't feel all that unwieldy compared to a lot of things that are this big. So I feel like this is a great vehicle for everyone in the family to enjoy.
Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching the first in-depth look at the 2019 Buick Enclave Avenir. Stay watching for a quick overview of the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.